Welcome. This is David Bowles, Human Meme. Today's topic: we learn what we see. We, the incredible humans, learn best and model best what we see with our eyes. And yes, seeing has many methods and mothers. And for the purpose of our conversation today, we are not making this topic of seeing a question about physical blindness of eyes that cannot view or even minds that will not want. No, we're just generally going to talk about eyes, learning, and the connected memes and ways of knowing. Some in history have liked to think our eyes are a window on the world and a shade into the substance of our soul. And while all of that may be true, it doesn't mean we operate in the aesthetic of the theoretical dark. Yes, we learn with our eyes. We read. We encapsulate the world in a blink. We interact with others with a wink. Would there be racism if the world were blind and would not see? Our vision determines us. We are led into disliking and liking what we see. That sight becomes loves and hatreds and wars and the joy of visual performance. Aristotle. He's our friend from way back. We've talked a lot about him in this Human Meme podcast in the past. And Aristotle believed we learn through imitation. And the quickest and fastest form of imitation to view is through behavior modeling. We watch other people. We watch our parents, and we imitate them. We hang out with our friends. We imitate them. And that watched, imitative behavior can either be for the goodness of the soul, or it can serve the despair of the world. Setting a good example never before had such wide-ranging importance than it does right now. That's why, growing up, our parents, if they're good parents, want to help pick our friends. They care about us. Because we, as young people, don't know any better. We cannot choose. We do not know. Because we haven't yet seen enough to know. We don't recognize the mask yet. We don't see the stranger and the con before our eyes until our pockets are picked. Yes, our eyes see, but our minds are too immature to process what is being broadcast to us when we are young. We are intimidated by our phones and televisions and even riots in the street. But, my human meme friend, there shall arrive a time when personal watching needs to be explored and tested. That's the realm of the rebellious teenager and the willfully degenerate adult. And every parent begins to wonder, against hope, if the imitative behavior they modeled at home will be repeated in their kids. Or if outside sources of visual excitement will overrule them and become the adult. And prisons, they are full of the fully accused and the wrongly convicted, who were all poor decision-makers when it came time to seeing the right behavior and acting accordingly or unaccordingly to make the great case of purpose and playfulness with humanity. Everything has relevance. All behavior counts. It all matters. Schools matter. Religion matters. The guy on the street corner matters. We see each other. We interact with each other. We matter to each other. We cannot help not knowing. We know who we are, for the most part, but we are too easily fooled by others into only seeing what they want to reveal to us. We need to know not just how to look in, but how to look around. In that search, we find the divinity of the moment. And therein lies the truth of the fact of the lie. The deception only rules and takes your hand if you are naive enough not to watch the knuckles and see how they flex, and then know through a wider experience that the interlacing fingers are tightening around your throat. If you only see some people doing one thing, then you think all those people only do that one thing. And that kind of willful unseeing is dangerous and non-communal. It isn't enough to live in a silo and experience the world only through those encapsulated with you inside your immediate corrugated tin circle. Now, we must run to race into the future with the full explosion of experiences that round off our sharp corners and that help hone the tight vision of life that we have lived to earn, to deserve. And that, my human being friend, is why those who lead the most of us are so important. Do we want criminals and nefarious liars tending to our dreams? Modeling behavior for us and for our children and for our friends? Do we want corruption and lying and the ferocity of cruelty to become the everyday in the world? We see, but do we realize? Yes, it is important to stand up and then correct behavior that is damaging to the best of us. We cannot tolerate the liar, the traitor, the coward, because if any of that is okay, if any of that sort of treachery against us becomes normalized and unchallenged, then that behavior becomes the acceptable status quo, and our lives and our futures are degraded beyond recognition. Instead of recognizing the good in all of us, we only fall to despair and hatred, to define those we do not know and those we do not wish to welcome. And that's what's at stake for us right now. Seeing, sight, vision. What kind of future do we want to imitate in order to survive into the next moment? We need to get it together and put it all together. The great see. If others do not see as we do, then we must stand forward and give them the vision they do not commonly share. Perhaps at no fault of their own. But if they refuse to then see, if they will not model the truth, then we must be on high alert. Because we are being cheated and destroyed when we do not press down the insurrection of tyranny and devilishness, pretending to be comfort, love, and angels. If sight cannot be saved, if we cannot move to place it all back together, for the next person in line behind us. Then we must fall back on our imagination. Yes, our thoughts and our creativity are forcibly employed to lead us when we can no longer look to see to understand. We seek the truth of light, and we are denied the lie of the darkness of death. And in that pit, that endless nothing between the pendulum and the pinnacle, we save humanity a little bit every day. We rescue our humanity with living right, being fair, and always pressing others to actually know and recognize what they see. The body does not lie. The eye always knows. The proof of the life of a lie is not found in shadow, but in the revelation of a light you can only see when you know the darkness surrounding you was created only to scare you and humble you and make you fall in line to fall off the continent. We know better. We are better for knowing. Now, do something about seeing beyond the imitated vision. Thank you for listening. Be a Human meme.